ever get the feeling you're being kicked out of your house?
Well,
I'm being pushed from room to room to room.
I say you moved.
I
You moved. Okay, so listen, look
who
who's
is
joined,
this house?
look who's joined us.
Oh my God, Shirley.
He won't, he loves you, Andrea. I'm just telling you.
I heard cat.
One
You see me.
of three. Lavina, every time I do this, she's right here on the screen.
Dr. Shaw.
How are you?
Dr. E. I'm good for you.
I'm good. I'm looking at
Whose cat was that?
That's mine. My cat.
I hit start video.
This is,
I'm
And
not,
she-
my face ain't there.
And Miss Shaw eating chips. What are
My
you eating,
God, I
Miss
look
Shaw?
like hell.
no more. It's been a
Yeah.
day. It's been a day. I'm gonna turn my light on.
I don't know. Fine.
Funny.
no, you can't get in the camera.
Hello?
Okay, there we go.
Everybody.
Right now. I think I'm plugged in.
Yeah, a little better.
Sonia,
Maybe I'll turn on.
I guess I should show myself.
I don't know.
Okay, wait a second.
Jill's gonna be on here.
There we go.
Oh.
Oh my.
Yeah. Piece of paper, piece of paper.
That's the thing.
These are trash unless they want to look at them.
Got my paper.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
Oh, that's
green.
you can, I
You
can
want to throw these away or have, I don't think it's
Actually,
anything.
you have to stop sharing.
Just like the towels and random people they probably don't even remember anymore.
cheers.
All right.
Good.
Everybody, man, this is fun. She's still eating.
Sharing the screen. Who is that?
They each.
Oh no,
They can't see me.
okay, so somebody takes control this screen.
Huh? I wish I didn't know what I did.
That's Dr. E.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is sweet.
Somebody's
Control
Can you hear it?
Oh, she's sharing her screen.
Ugh, how do I?
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen right now. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing.
Dr. E, you technically did it right here, or
What's up?
Um,
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
How come I can't see you?
right.
You can't see me.
No, I can only hear you.
My video's up. I see myself.
You guys, do,
There he is.
there's an arrow, and you can scroll.
21 years.
There's going to be pages to this, probably like 2 pages or 2 screens of people when we share a screen. Everybody goes vertical.
Oh, okay. Can you guys see me?
now
Yeah.
I can see you.
If
All
they
right.
scroll,
Very
everybody
good.
can see you.
We're gonna start here soon. I gotta figure out what time it is.
It's like
5:58.
6.
All right.
5:50.
Hi, Carly.
I'll be right back.
Okay, we're counting on you being back. Whatever.
I'm going to mute
Hi,
people.
Shirley.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi.
Good, how are you?
Good.
I'm good.
I don't know.
I have a friend here, so you might see the friend now and then. He likes to join in on Zoom classes, Zoom meetings.
I'm in her chair.
He is who he. Then there's another one that will come in and push him off the table, and it's just one of those things, You got to, I shut the door, and you thought I would have killed both of them earlier. Yes, you're the.
I don't know how to turn my camera on.
If you go on the
Danny-
bottom, it says where you can mute, start or stop video. It just goes away kind of like like if you have a Mac, it goes away kind of like your stuff on the bottom does. You have to move your mouse.
Right.
Debate.
Boss lady has control.
Third time I've got it down, third meeting today, so we'll keep rolling.
I'm telling you. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the next slide. I'm afraid to go, where am I at? Where's my cursor? Oh, yeah. All right, so let's see, play from this current slide. Let's see if it will do this. Oh, okay, can you still see the PowerPoint?
Yes,
Oh.
we can.
I just want to make sure. So I'm not, this is a very short presentation because you all been around, you all kind of know, if you've been around me enough, you know what my expectations are. You've had classes before, everything, but what I really want to talk about and reinforce, I guess it's not that I've had issues with any of you about being accountable and responsible and self-directed and all of those things that put together a profession. And a lot of you do know how strongly I feel about academic integrity, nursing professionalism, and really caring for those patients regardless of their background. And your beliefs and your values are one thing, but to honor our patients, we also have to accept who they also are, 100%. And I've always said you might disagree with what they say or what their lifestyle is, but that's not for us to judge them. We take care of them just as we would take care of anyone. And that I really firmly believe in that. And just want to stress that I'm not going to read, obviously, the PowerPoints to you. I'm going to kind of paraphrase everything. But I really want you to understand that, again, stress to you, represent yourself, but you also represent the School of Nursing. When you're out in the clinical area, when you are in the classroom, when you are interacting with your patients, you really represent Macomb Community College. And that really hit home to me. I don't know if I've told any of you this story, but one of my best friends' husband is a Detroit councilman. And she said, when he was running for the first time, she's kind of chuckled and she says, I have to watch my P's and Q's and I can't get mad at anyone who cuts me off when I'm driving and stuff like that, because I represent my husband. And it really got to me thinking at the time that I kind of sometimes act inappropriately in the driving seat and other places. And I represent, at that time, U of D Mercy. Well, now I'm representing Macomb Community College. So I really took what my best friend had said to me, and I took that and I applied that to my own life. And that's what I'm asking you guys to do. You probably may have heard me say there has been incidences where I previously worked that the manager of the nursing floor was taking names and sending them to the HR department for that health system as no hires. All those student nurses were no hires because of the behavior they were showing on the unit. And this is a big health center, or a health system. And so I encourage you and urge you, you may not agree with your instructor or whatever they have to say or whatever, but I always, even as a doctoral student, didn't agree 100%, but I never complained to my classmates. I went home and my poor husband, and I complained to my poor husband all the time. So, there's a way of doing that. The same thing with emails, social media, making sure that you're not TikToking, oh, I got this great patient on, and you tell where you're at and you're doing dance. I was just introduced to TikTok, so whatever. But anyways, I thought Facebook and, Instagram were the only things I had to worry about, but here's TikTok now. So I just, you all know, you all work in that area. You all know what, you're supposed to do and not to do, but just as a reiteration of really taking responsibility for your learning and for your behavior. That's all I'm asking you, okay? Okay, switch. There we go. Just to remind you that, again, I kind of talked about this in the last slide, and you're all going to laugh at the last one. Fatigue impairs mental alertness and certain physical abilities. I know you're all working. I know some of you have children. Some of you have a husband or a partner or a wife, and you're going to school. And getting your rest and be well rested, especially in this time of COVID, is vital. And I know that you're all laughing at me because I was a student 3 times over and worked full time and had 2 small children at the time. So I know what I'm saying to you is, haha, you know, yeah, it's great, Dr. E, yeah, whatever. But I'm really encouraging you, especially in this day and age of COVID, that you guys take care of yourself. That's what I'm asking you guys to do. All right, so if you're up for renewal for ACE-MET, which means you did it a year ago, you need to pay your other $50. You pay your $50 to renew your ACE-MET, I guess, membership. If you are 8 weeks away from graduation, you still have to pay your $50. And I'm sorry about that, but that's how they run things. I have tried to convince them and talk to them and twist their arm, and that's not going to work. Okay, just telling you. So go in, make sure that you are current in ACE-MET. You all should be getting those emails. If you've not been getting emails, please go on to ACE-MET. Make sure that your address, your email, your car, everything, all that personal information is up to date, because again, they use all that information for your parking badges and everything else that they do. If you need a TB, if you need whatever else you need that needs to be renewed, you need to get that into Terry at least 3 weeks prior to clinicals starting. And as we sit here tonight, clinicals will start the week of August 17th in the hospitals. All right, that as we sit here tonight, because God only knows what will happen from now until August 17th. But as we sit here tonight, and that's the kind of email that I sent all to the faculty and the adjuncts, as I write this at 11:35 a.m., we are going to clinicals that very first week. The hospitals want us back, and they are preparing for us to be there. So make sure we have to put those rosters in by the 2nd week of August, if not sooner, because you have modules, those lovely modules. Remember the lovely modules and all that stuff you got to do. Well, it ain't gone away, and actually they have added more modules on COVID-19. Yay. So we got to get the rosters done. Terry and I, Terry, have you started with these guys at all, assigning them clinicals?
Not yet. I was waiting until all the stuff got approved.
Well, we may have to start doing that, because we may do Plan B, because I will share with everyone that's on the call. It has been, I'm trying to keep, my mouth has been pretty good though, Andrea, today. I will have to say.
It's been fun.
I've been very good today.
There's your optimism. It's been fun.
So if any of you who don't know me, I kind of 4-letter word a lot. Anyhow, but it's been a challenge. Henry Ford Health System has said to us that we are only, not just us, all of the schools, that we can only have 6 nursing students in a clinical group, which when you look at that adds a clinical group for at least every med-surg clinical, if not OB, pediatrics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I am still trying to find placements. I am still trying to hire adjuncts. So we will get those to you so you can register as soon as we can. We may just do the first 8 weeks, because right now the first 8 weeks looks pretty good. It's the second 8 weeks that I'm struggling with. All right, so just as an FYI to all of you. So it has been a challenge. It's my worry, it makes me not want to sleep, to be really honest with you. So let me see. What did I do? Okay. Dress code update. AD Shaw and I sat down and we updated the handbook. It is going to go to standards here in right before we start back. And so what the handbook that you received is not the handbook that with the updates. So these are the updates that are being made in there, okay? So the sideburns, beards, and mustaches, they must be clean and neatly trimmed to 1/4 inch. So ladies, make sure your mustaches are trimmed, okay? Fingernails, no artificial and no paint, no nail polish at all. Especially in this day and age of COVID, and it's still warping into different virus, a different virus, it's still doing its little thing and making changes. You don't, with nail polish, you take those germs home to you. I don't care whether you wear gloves, and you still bring home germs. And so we just decided no nail polish at all, and the artificial nails have always been there, that you can't have those either. If you have questions, ask, okay? Plain earrings may be worn no more than 1 piercing in each ear. So I've been monitoring the Macomb Nursing Student Facebook, and I will have the same discussion with our adjuncts and our faculty, because you all told on some of the faculty, not by name, but that, oh, they don't care, I've done this, and they don't really care, and I've worn this, and they don't. Well, let me tell you, I'm sorry, but if I make you all do what's in the handbook, so does full-time and adjuncts. And I know that AD Shaw supports me on that. All white, no leather, all white, all leather shoes, no canvas shoes, because again, when you start thinking about bodily fluids and leaking onto your feet and all of that lovely stuff, we want you to be in all leather. A minimum of crew socks must be worn. And again, no jackets, sweaters, or hoodies can be worn over the uniform top while you're in clinical. Only white lab coat is permitted. When it gets cold, or if you have chest hair, you've got to cover chest hair. You cover it with a t-shirt, and when it gets cold, you can wear a t-shirt or a white turtleneck when it gets cold underneath your scrub top, okay?
I have a question.
Sure.
The all leather, all white shoes, like would a pair of white Nikes be considered
As long as
acceptable?
they're not canvas. You know
So
what I
no
mean by
cloth white,
canvas,
that's what you're
right?
saying?
Cloth and
No,
mesh. Cloth and mesh will, the fluids will go right through onto your sock and onto your toes and onto your skin. So we need a barrier. And those cloth shoes don't do that. They don't provide a barrier at all. So if you have a leather, or if you have like the Crocs, not the croc, but like the solid top clog shoe, with as long as it's got a supportive back, that's legal too, but nothing mesh. And I know it's hard because it's a lot of mesh shoes out there, but this is a uniform no-no because of all the gross stuff that's seeping through students' shoes.
And you take it home. It's one of those things that you're taking home. And I know my friends who are at the bedside with all of this that's going on, and we're talking people who work OB. We're not talking people who work med surg. They leave their shoes out in the garage and they bleach them. They clean them with bleach every time they get home from work, and along with stripping down out of their scrubs. And if you're wearing scrubs to work, they strip down and throw those things right into the washer and dryer. So we're asking that you would adhere to the all leather, please, especially in this pandemic. And really that has always been in the handbook, but it came to my attention last semester or fall semester that people had the canvas shoes. And so we added that to that.
I had a quick question about the earrings.
Yes.
Because I have 2 in the top of my ear that aren't really supposed to be taken out. Can I wear like a clear stud in one of them?
No.
No, so I just have to.
Take it out for the 6 to 8 hours or whatever you're in clinical, yes.
Okay.
You can wear it to class. I mean, this is only applying to clinical, the clinical arena.
Yeah, I just figured I'd ask because they're like in the
No, I
top of
know,
the
they're
ear.
in your cartridge,
Cartilage. Yep.
right?
Yep.
One more question regarding the shoes.
Yes, ma'am.
They do have, I only ask this because I wear a size 11 and it's really hard to find all leather that fit me comfortably, but they do have some that are completely waterproof. Are you guys okay if we get the brand and submit you with like what kind they are if we wear those, even though they're mesh? Or are you guys concerned about needles as well?
No, I'm concerned about anything that could harm you. So
Yeah.
drop a needle, drop what, I mean.
Okay, because they sell some that are completely waterproof, but I didn't know if you guys allowed those. Even
You know, just your luck, and it would be from a COVID. Now you won't be taking care of COVIDs, but patients, but you know, HIV patients.
Right. Okay. No problem. Thank you.
I always go down the bad path, you know, but I have to think like that for your protection.
I understand.
No problem, guys. Social media.
Sorry, I just wanted to let you know that there's no chat box in this session.
Oh.
No, we, yeah, there was an issue with the chat box. We're going to, if you guys have questions, just raise your hand.
Or just
and if you raise your hand, then I think I see it pop up. I think somebody just raised their hand, but I think they just spoke. Yeah, thank you so much for that. If you have
Does that have to do with recording it, the chat box when we record it, and the transcription for the chat box, that why it's taking so long? I don't know. Anyway.
Also, we can give breaks every few minutes and make sure we're updating with questions as well.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Been trying, boss lady. So social media, you know, I'm gonna slap your hands if you get on and TikTok or whatever, we talked about it earlier. So no pictures. They don't even really want you taking the group picture on the unit anymore, you know, after clinical's over and stuff. So again, we really want to be very careful about keeping everything private. No talking in the hallways, no talking about your patients in the elevators, and God forbid that anyone, you go down and have lunch, and this actually happened. I'm just sharing my stories as some of you know. Do not go down into the cafeteria and talk about your patients, because that happened at the other place I worked. And they were making fun of the patient, and the VP of nursing was sitting at the next table. And so it wasn't a pleasant day for myself. It wasn't certainly not a pleasant day for the students. And so I don't want that type of phone call, and I know AD Shaw does not want that type of phone call either. So that's what these next social media policies are. And this is not just nursing, it's also the college's social media guidelines. Okay, so we have decided, and here are the reasons why, that up till now you've been able to use your own personal email, your Gmail, your Hotmail, whatever, okay? We're finding it very difficult to convey communication accurately to all the students. And so if you do not have never used your Macomb email, we are asking that you convert everything over in your communication to us, your professors, your clinical instructors, using your macomb.edu email. The next several pages show you how you go and do that. So if you've never gone in and accepted your Macomb email, then follow the steps and you will be able to do that. All right. So, and you can see the reasons why. We just have found through SNA and trying to communicate through things that, especially in March, when all, you know what, hit the fan. I'm just telling you, it was difficult to try to communicate consistently, not just with the students, with you guys, but with our adjuncts and with our full-time faculty. So, you know, we decided that as a whole, that we were going to start requiring you guys using your macomb.edu email. Okay? Questions about that?
I have one.
Yes.
Do we need to update our ACE map then to our Macomb website or?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please. And then on my, and if you don't know how to link the Macomb email to your Outlook, you know, whatever you're using, I would email IT. I don't know how. One of the people, what I was going to say, that was on the Facebook site that I monitor, not the SNA site, they actually knew how to do it. And so if you are still a part of that Facebook site, go on and scroll down. That was yesterday. Someone asked, and they said, yes, I do know how to do that. So you can link the Macomb email to whatever, the Hotmail or whatever, and you don't have to go to 2 different places to look at your emails. Okay?
Yesenia has a question, I think.
If you're already a part of Teams, will the email, your email's registered then, correct? Like Microsoft Teams?
What did you use for that?
We had to use our Macomb email.
Oh, then, yeah. Yes, I should say.
Okay, thank you.
No, I didn't know I wasn't involved in any of that, so you guys have to educate me, okay?
If you guys, the cohort that just finished OB with me, Christina Panic, you guys all had to get my Macomb email to be able to use Teams. So if you used Teams last semester, you have one already.
Okay.
Now there's options on Teams to go on as a guest. So just because you get on now doesn't mean that you've registered your Macomb email. But if you did it the last semester before they had guest privileges, yes, you had access.
Okay. Yeah, good. I mean, I didn't know. So that's good. That is good to know. So the next 5 slides are the instructions on how you activate your Macomb email if you've never activated it. And it's just, you can read, I don't need to read that for you, but it's step by step and how you do that. And so we're asking that you all kind of get that done prior to the start of school. So in case we have things that we need to have you guys do or send out to you, it would be nice to have that, you know, availability or ability to send it just through the macomb.edu email.
And if you guys could send it to me once you get it activated, that'd be great.
Yeah, and we're going to tell you how you're going to do that anyways here in just a second, okay? So for those of you who are in 2465 and 2445, 55, or 56, whatever it is, the 2400s, let me just say it that way, it was decided that there will no longer be an exit HESI. So that's one of the major changes in the handbook. Because you're using the PrepU, I believe, or PassPoint from Pearson, correct? From your textbooks and stuff. And you've been doing those all along in your program. And I know that Professor Nemechek is giving, the last couple semesters has given they have a couple comprehensive exams that she has you guys take to prep you guys for NCLEX, all right? So there will be no exit HESI, which is good because it saves you some money, enough to go out to dinner, and maybe not with a tip, but whatever. And so we really want you to, if you're in that 2400 group or even in the 2300 group, I really, you know, I consider myself a pretty good NCLEX guru. And I would love to have you guys go back and look at, because I asked these questions when we made this decision, does the PassPoint or PrepU, whatever it's called now, show you, like the HESI does, your weak points? Are you weak in assessment type questions? Are you weak in intervention type questions? And I was told by Professor Nemechek that yes, it does show you that. It shows you trends. Because typically what you're weak in the beginning, unless you work on answering those questions correctly, you continue to be weak in some sort of the nursing process. And so when you have a free moment from now until we start back in August, I highly, highly encourage all of you to go back into that PrepU, PassPoint, whatever, and look at your trends. And those are the things that you want to study first. Then you bring up those weak points, and then the strong points. Yeah, you're going to still work on those strong points. But if you're weak in assessment questions, you should be doing nonstop assessment questions so that you understand how to answer those questions and what are the key words that you're going to be looking for when you're taking your NCLEX. And so that's basically what I want you guys to do from now, and because you're returning. And if you are going into 1300, it would behoove you to look back in the 1200s that you did the PassPoint or the PrepU. I don't know what it's called. Someone tell me what it's called. The Pearson thing. What is it called? That you go online and take the quizzes.
We use both of
PassPoint.
them.
Huh?
It's called PassPoint.
Yes,
Passport?
Point.
Yeah,
Point.
passport.
PassPoint. Okay.
PassPoint is the new PrepU.
Yeah, PassPoint.
They're all on the Point is the website.
They've changed the name of it. You both may not know that, but they did. And then if you're graduating, we have a graduation in December and May. And so you need to go on and apply for graduation. It's just not automatic. So you go on, and Terry, how do they do that? How do they apply for graduation? Terry.
Okay. They go on to the My Macomb website, and there is a spot in there that says apply for graduation.
Oh, well, that's easy enough. Okay, good. I didn't know. Okay, good.
Sure, we've got a couple questions. Thomas had a question.
Sure. Thomas.
Hello. I just wanted to just make it clear, who are we supposed to contact and confirm when we have our email changed to our edu email?
You are going to go on to AceMap and fix that email. Number one. And then there's going to be another slide here in a couple slides where, because of attendance, we want to know who came to the Zoom meeting. And so all of you are going to email Terry with some information. And on that, you're going to let her know what your Macomb email is.
All right.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
No problem. What other questions? You guys just have to speak up.
Hey, Shirley, this is Molly. I just have a quick question. When do we apply for graduation? Is it at the beginning of our last semester?
I'm going to say yes, but let's see what Terry says.
Then the semester you're ending, if you want to get in the book, I think you would apply to be on the safe side, October 1st. And if you want to be in the other one for the winter semester, I think you need to apply by March 1st.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
But
Okay,
it's
thank
the
you.
semester you're ending.
Yeah,
Can I ask a
halfway through? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, for when we do our clinicals, I work at Detroit Receiving. We have to wear N95s currently, and I wear a P100 respirator. Is that something that I can wear during clinicals, or are they going to provide us with the N95s?
We're going to talk about that in a few seconds.
Okay, thank you.
Well, maybe a little bit more than a few seconds, but we will talk about that. Okay. Okay.
Is that
Okay.
Molly? Or was that Jennifer? Was that Jennifer?
Jennifer. Yep.
Okay, we'll get to you. And then on that, and then Molly has a question. Molly Holt.
I'm good. I already asked mine.
Oh, good. Who am I missing?
Anybody else? S now.
Nobody.
Forever hold your peace.
I do.
Yes.
It's kind of more of a favor. If you could just like go back for the slides for the activating the Macomb email. I just haven't done that.
Well, it's in your PowerPoint. Should be in the PowerPoint that Terry sent out to all of you.
Okay.
Okay.
I did not send anything to the returning students.
Oh,
You'll get it.
Okay.
I'll send it out to you guys, okay?
Okay, thank
Or
you.
I'll have Terry send it out to you. That's right, Terry, I forgot. Because I think I said, oh, no, we don't have to send anything out. Okay, that's probably my fault, guys, and not Terry's. Because, Terry's busy. So I talked about graduation. Okay, student success packet. We are going to give you a link to a Canvas site that's called ADN Community Canvas site. And on that is the PowerPoint. And also what's going to be on there is some resources that if we were doing the Exit HESI, I would be meeting with you and giving you. So I put all those resources on there. It's all about NCLEX and it's right out of one of the NCLEX books that I have and that I like. And so we will get you that link and we'll send this PowerPoint to you too. But just knowing that we're trying to set up a common community site. We're going, if I'm correct, have the instructors put up their first day handouts, correct? Up on the community site. AD Shaw, Miss Andrea, are they going to do that?
It's going to go in week 0.
Yeah, week 0. And she's going to talk about what week 0 means here in just a minute, okay? Remember the chain of command. I'm asking you to please have the discussion with your clinical or your full-time faculty person if you're having issues with them, because I like to know that you've at least attempted to have that conversation with that professor. But follow the chain of command, which is meeting with the adjunct or the full-time faculty. Then you would come to me, then you go to Andrea, and then you go to the dean. It is nothing different than what we have in the hospitals, which is the chain of command for the hospitals. And so I am asking that you follow the chain of command and at least attempt to have, I guess, a conversation with your instructor. I know, you may have sat down and discussed stuff with them, getting not maybe the answer that you want, and you're more than free to come in and talk to me about what's going on. I may not be able to help you. I may be able to help you, meaning change the way you study or whatever, or look at things differently. So I'm here, I'm there, whatever. The appendixes are all still the same. And now Terry, as we all know, has been at Macomb for 30 years, and there's really nothing that she does not know. And you've probably heard me before that I don't make any decisions unless I talk to Terry. So that's just how, and thank God I have Terry, because it would be a world of hurt if we didn't. So Terry's going to talk about your signature sheets. Go ahead. And the next steps.
I'm sorry.
Terry.
No, I was up. Once we get the new handbook approved, I will get a copy of it to all of you, and I will need you to turn in the signature sheet again that says you received the handbook and that you understand what all the changes are. And I will let you know basically what the basic changes were before I give them to you.
Just like we've done in the past, the 1-page sheet that tells you exactly what to look for as far as the changes. I mean, we've done that in the past. So
yeah, so once I give it to you, if you can just get me the copy of the signature sheets again, that would be great.
And then the very next important step, is to by this Saturday, go ahead, Tara.
Well, they don't have to send me all this information. I already have it. This was just for the brand new students.
But where it says Macomb email address?
I just need the Macomb email as soon as it's activated.
Okay. So you don't have to send the student ID, address, date of birth?
No, I've already got that information on the card. The reason I needed it for the beginning.
Yeah, I know that. But the address, if they've moved, you'll need an updated address, right? So any changes in your address, or your city where you're living, that if your phone number has changed.
Yeah,
so,
if anything changes, just let
Yeah.
me know. But if
That's
it's all the same as what
that's
it
what
said,
that
then I
slide
don't need it.
That's what that slide should say.
Terry,
Okay.
what is the deadline though you want for the email address update from Macomb?
Well, you told them they should have it done within a week or so, so I'll go by that same.
I would, because, it's already almost the middle of July. We're right around the corner to put rosters in. It's scary to me. I mean, how fast time is going. So,
And if I've sent you something that says you need to turn in your physical stuff, just remember to turn it in.
and how we're doing that now, because we're not on campus, is you scan and you send it to her email.
Yep, they're emailing it to me.
Okay. Any type of updates whatsoever. All right. And then,
Miss Jenna has a
fun
question.
picture. Sure, go ahead, guys.
Yeah, Terry, would you just accept like a picture of it from our phones if we don't
As
have?
long as I can print it off, I don't care.
All right, cool. Thank
And
you.
it's
If
readable.
I have trouble
And it's
printing it, I
readable.
will let you know.
Yeah, it's got to be readable too. I mean, so an up close picture is great. I mean, yeah. Okay. Other questions about anything?
Yeah, I'm sorry. At that last slide at the bottom, it said something about not wanting to start in August.
Oh, don't worry
about that.
Okay.
Shirley did not make changes to the PowerPoint from the new orientation group, okay? Just to prove what I always say, I am not perfect. I am a human being. So I strive for perfection, but that doesn't happen sometimes.
I have a question
Okay.
about email.
Go ahead.
Again.
No problem.
So if we update our email address, does Terry need to know or just change it in ACE? Do we have to email her if our Macomb's actually active already?
Yes, because I don't have any of your.
We don't know if you have an active one or a non-active one.
Okay,
we're going from, yeah, we don't know.
Are we just supposed to email Terry and tell her that it's updated in ACE then too?
That would be nice. So then she knows that you've gone in and done that.
Okay.
So she doesn't have to check, would be nice. That would be very nice.
And then just email her from our Macomb one saying that we've updated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and however you want to get me the information, as long as I know what your Macomb email is, that's great.
Okay, sounds good.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
As a returning student, do we have to have another physical, or are we good with the physical we had last year to start?
You're good.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to caveat that, and if you've been hospitalized, God forbid, if you've had a baby, guys, if you've had a baby, ladies, and you've been hospitalized for that, you've had a broken arm, whatever, you have to get another physical. That's in the handbook. So if you've been hospitalized, you also need a clearance from your physician telling us that you can come back.
Are we going to talk about COVID?
There's a caveat to that answer.
So if anybody needs a clearance form, let me know and I can send it to you.
Terry?
Yes?
Okay, so I was hospitalized and I was on a stop out and I'm coming back. So I have the clearance to send you, but I didn't know I had to get a physical, and my doctor's not even doing in person.
No, I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought as long as we got the clearance form from your doctor that you were all okay.
You know what? I'm going to have to look at the handbook because I thought another physical was due if there was hospitalizations, but that's my memory right now. And so I'll talk to Terry tomorrow after we look at the handbook more closely and my memory is jogged a little bit, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay, so someone will just let me know if I have to turn in the physical. Like I said, I'm gonna have to find it.
If you email Terry and say I'm the one who asked about.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll know who it is.
Now you're talking about hospitalizations. What about people that have tested positive for COVID?
We're going to get to COVID in a second. That's like
Yeah,
kind of
we're
like a
gonna get
separate
COVID in a
Okay.
second. So
conversation
hold your
in itself.
question.
Yeah.
Okay, hold your question. Any other questions about my presentation or whatever?
I may have missed this, but do we have to be TB tested every year?
Yes. Even though Beaumont Health System is not doing TB tests,
Neither is St.
they're still supporting the every year TB test through the ACE meeting. So I'm at a loss. Again, we're not dictating that. It's the hospitals that are dictating that.
St. John's not at a yearly either anymore.
I know. Listen, I brought it up the last ACE MAP meeting and I got shut down. Just saying.
Crystal, did you have a question still?
I have a question.
Okay.
So the students that are returning that haven't had like any lab practice, is that something that we're going to be doing anytime soon, or that's just something that we'll have to wait once the campus opens?
Well, I know that Christy is doing stuff online and doing stuff online. I got that email today and she's had great success doing stuff online, and I'm not sure where she's at with that.
Shirley, I can speak to that a little bit more when we do SNA stuff. I can share the link and how to
Okay,
contact
thank you.
Christy.
Yeah,
no
because
problem.
Christy's doing stuff online and it has been very successful. She's gone over pumps and all sorts of stuff with students. So there is a chance that you could do that. But if you want to do actual hands-on, yes, it will probably have to wait until we go back to back on campus, which AD Shaw is going to talk about here in just a few minutes. Any other questions?
I had a question.
Okay.
I took a stop out for some family illnesses at my own. Do I need anything special any special forms to return?
No.
Okay.
No. Just make sure that everything is updated on AceMap.
Awesome. Thank you.
And
Mhm.
Shirley and Andrea, this is Christina Panic again. Somebody just pointed out to me, we don't have an active chat box like we did in the last one. So I
Yes,
don't
we
know if
know
that's
that.
something on,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know what's going on, Christina.
Okay, just checking.
Natalia had a question too.
Thank you. I don't know if I'm getting ahead of the situation, so I apologize if I am. But for people, because I started in March, the day before everything shut down, are we going to essentially be redoing the skills we were supposed to do on campus that we had the pseudo online things for, or what's the situation?
Well, that's a great question. And I know that the faculty have discussed that, practicing those skills in clinical or with Christy when we get back on campus. So like on sim day, on your simulation day, re-practicing those skills, your health assessment skills, and also the skills that you did virtually in your simulation day. So I do know that there's been discussion with the full-time faculty for that to happen. I've just, to me, I can't answer exactly when that will happen. I just know that there was conversation about it.
So are we not going to be placed in like a hospital clinical until that happens? Because I know
No.
I just
You're going, as we stand here today, the week of August 17th, you're going to go into clinicals. And so we are planning on having an adjunct meeting, and we will discuss those of you guys who are going into fundamentals that you did health assessment and you did the skills virtually. And so that there will be some practice that will need to be done on those skills.
I do know, Natalia, that I have talked to some of the faculty, and I know Kim Kennedy was on, and I know Christina's on, and they can't speak to that, but I do know that some of them were expressing obviously the same concern, and they were actively trying to come up with something to remedy that, whether it be with Christina, how she's talking about it right now, is she wants to talk about Christy, or maybe kind of just finagling some of the labs when you come back on campus. So they too are concerned about that and student progression. And I thank you for bringing that up. And I do know it's on the forefront of their minds.
Yeah.
So Leah,
we're
you know, here's, hi Leah. So I had Leah in the 1165. She did amazing, just FYI. But so we had talked about that a lot, sweetie, and because we were not sure even up until this day what we were going to do with the labs. So some of us were still kind of juggling. I know that we all know that when you come into clinical that we may have to do a little bit more coaching, a little bit more preparing you before you go in to do like your first injection, whatever it might be. I know because I'll be like, I'm like the lead for the 1365 adjunct. So I'm going to suggest too that they do take part of that sim day or whatever. I've kind of got some ideas for it, and we just kind of I've got to work with Gwen just to kind of get some things, even if you had one Foley insertion that you were able to put into the mannequin. It wouldn't take that long. Just kind of have you go through a couple of the crucial things. Now, I don't know if we can replicate we can't, all of 6. Okay, we could try. It would be crazy. You know, we'd be ready to really hurt each other, but we can't replicate all those things, but we can take care of a couple of those things. But everybody, I guarantee you, knows, and they will be reminded that there may need to be a little bit more tolerance from our part and a little bit more re-prep before you go in to do something. And my people have had me, you know, who are online, Molly and all those other folks. I see your face there, Molly. Know too that a lot of times I'll stop outside the room. I didn't have to do too much with Molly, but and I may say, so how are you going to do this? Walk me through the steps, whatever. So you're good, Leah. Don't worry quite so much about that. We all know we're going to be very understanding with that. And like I said, maybe a little bit more prep if we aren't able to do some of those things on campus. So you're welcome.
No problem. We want you all to be successful.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, the faculty have worked very, very hard in finishing up the winter semester and then planning for the fall semester. And they're continually working on that because as things change, we've had to adapt. And so again, know that if you just did everything virtually your first semester, you're going, what the heck is going on? We will take that into consideration, okay? All right, Andrea, are you ready for your presentation?
Yeah, mine will be pretty quick. I'm just going to bring this up here on the screen and just talk about some of the more unpleasantries, such as what the world of COVID has brought to us. Whoops. It'll take me a minute. Okay. So my part of this is just to really start off with bringing us back to March. In your mind, and it was not that long ago, think about, you know, it was a pretty fast and furious upset. From your perspective, the campus, the student, everything was just in a disarray. So I want you to think about, out of all of that, you know, a lot of us had to overcome some uncomfortable challenges. We had to jump into a virtual world. We had to do more simulation online. We had to break away a little bit from the skills that Natalia was just talking about. So there was some scariness and some unfamiliarity that was bred in all of us. And from a faculty and Shirley and Andrea perspective, many hours of lost sleep worrying about pushing out this program and making it a sound program for you guys. We were in tune all along with accreditation, but what I want you to think about now is moving forward, even though we've been working diligently day by day, hour by hour on this, really, when we really look at it, I have to tell you that I cannot sit in front of you and guarantee that everything's going back to normal in the fall. It's not. And so the reality of this is I just want to ask you to take a big pill of reality now and think about this and how you fit in moving forward and how you are going to plan for success in the program. And I'm going to help you with that, but I want to just kind of get your juices flowing up a top, okay? So we are doing a the program it's a work in progress. We have done so much work, but yet with the governor and CDC and health department, it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. So we've made plans and we've had to cancel, we've reeled them back in. It's perpetual, it's mind-boggling, and it's exhausting. But we do this out of the safety for you, your families, and for the patients. So it's with good cause and intent. So what we know right now is that we are going to, we know communication is key. And I'm just going to start off with this. So in the old world, a lot of time you wouldn't get content from instructors or from us until like a couple days before the program started, because that's when Canvas would open. So we created something called Week 0. And Week 0 is going to open up in early August for you, and it's going to be housed in the Canvas community shell that we're talking about, the ADN community shell, so that faculty can drop in their first day handouts. We can continue to talk to you about any new updates that are happening. What is this class going to look like compared to another class? Because all your classes might run a little bit differently. So it's imperative that you kind of check on that, and it's a great head start for us. I really look at that as a great head start, so you can get in and see what's going on and prepare yourself. Time and preparation is key to success. So that Week 0 is coming your way very, very soon. With the fall start, the messaging has gone out that the first 3 weeks of school are going to be virtual. That's the president's message, Dr. Sawyer. We're a little special in the health area for many reasons. One, Governor gave an exception for health areas during the summer, and she said, if you're in a healthcare frontline, first line program or in the health area, you can continue with your training. So for example, our Public Safety Institute, the police and everything, they've been going already. So we are going to be doing this too. So we've been given exception. Now, if you have a friend that's in the music program or somebody that's studying something that's non-health, they're gonna call you on this, and they're gonna say, no, this isn't true. But I'm telling you right now, in the health area, it's true, and this is what's true. Kim shared her screen over mine.
Not me.
My screen just went crazy. All of a sudden, it's a Kimberly sharing her screen.
It was not me.
So I know it's easy to do. So some Kimberly, doesn't matter. So
It was
anyway,
me. Trust me.
that's
I don't even
okay.
know how.
I'm like, if you're tired of my lecture, it's okay. No, so anyway, so what's going to happen is, so for you guys, you have 3 components, right? You've got your lecture / theory, you've got your clinical, and you've got your lab. For the first 3 weeks, your lectures are going to be, at least at minimum, your lectures are going to be online. So you will not have any face-to-face lecture with your faculty. It'll all be virtual. The clinical, as Shirley just said, is starting day 1. Clinicals have, although they're being a little more restrictive, they have open arms for the most part to us coming on. We're taking that and we're running with it. You guys are going to get into your clinicals, okay? The third component is lab, and lab is another fight. We were just given over the last Friday, just this past Friday, Dr. Sawyer gave us approval to special privilege to get our health students on campus in the lab from the very beginning, if the faculty feel that it would facilitate their course. If they feel like, no, in my lab, I'm good, I've already been planning, it's going to be just as good if it's virtual, that's their expertise, they will call the shot. If they, though, feel, yippee, now we can do it, they will let you know this, and you will be on campus the first day or the first week of school, okay? there's no rule here, and I don't want everybody to get hung up on this 3-week going into 4-week rule, that by week 4, everything's going to go back to normal. Again, I don't know what's going to happen. You know what can hit the fan again, and we can be back all home again. But all your faculty now, the difference is they're preparing. They're going to plan out a little bit, and if it works well for them to stay online, safer for everybody to keep you guys in the mode of distancing. Okay, so listen to your faculty. Your faculty will have the authority. They're the experts. They will call the shots on that. Lasenia, yes.
So even if lecture is going to be online, our clinicals are still going to be in the hospital?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Your independent instructor will tell you that, though. Like I said, they know what works best online and what works best in seat. I will take a second. I mean, I see 2 people raise their hand, and I will take a second to say this, though. As we start, this sounds like a little bit of freedom. I will emphasize highly on accountability for you guys now. So in the world of non-health care workers, you're really just kind of thinking about yourself and your family, right? Now you're got to think about your career, your future, your patients. And this is why I want to go back to March a little bit, and I want some of you to realize this. How prepared were you for all this online world that we're talking about? How many were you prepared for what's happened since March? Are you ready to go back in these clinical settings? Do you have feelings about this? Are you worried? We're all worried, but now's the time you kind of have this talk with yourself and plan out how successful you're going to be. My worry is this. If we don't think about this now, we're going to get out there and then you're going to have second thoughts then. And here's the deal. We were able to give some special excuses or some other plans when we had some absences in March. We're not going to be able to do that. We're going to roll. And with students, if someone had asked, what if I get COVID? Or what if I have a positive test? I'm going to roll that with the next slide. I'm going to let you know that. But I hate to tell you that the bad news is we're going to be treating this like the flu. If there's anybody that gets diagnosed with COVID and they're sick, and per their doctor is not supposed to be around anybody, they're going to be back in quarantine for 10 to 14 days. That will more than likely turn out to be a stop out of the program. Where you have to come back. The program has got to flow. It's got to keep going. There's none of our courses that we can actually stop and let someone sit out for 10 to 14 days. There's just no way with the requirements from top down, from the state of Michigan to the accreditation to your curriculum meeting the objectives. So we're going to push forward on that, which is another reason why we really need you guys to work collaboratively on keeping yourself safe and keeping each other safe. And we'll talk about the plan when we get there. Someone had a question.
Yes, it's me.
Me. Yes.
Megan.
Hi, Megan.
I'm just wondering, if you already took a stop out and you do end up getting COVID, would that result in having to restart the program, or will there be exceptions?
Was your stop out during the March?
No, it was prior. It was November.
We might have to talk.
Okay.
That's a very good question, and I don't know if we've thought about that.
Yeah, we might have to. And when I say we need to talk, I think I need to talk to Shirley and the faculty.
That's a great question, because
that was my question as well, because first one was choice, but the second one would be like schoolwork related. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
COVID.
So right now,
I
we have no answer. I think we're going to have to think about it. I mean, discuss it.
If we do remain consistent on this, and if we do treat it as if it's a flu or a prolonged illness, it would be, there is the exception caveat, where it's like beyond a student's control. So can I have a day or two to look at that, team?
Absolutely.
And let you know?
Yeah.
Okay. And I appreciate your questions on that.
Yeah, thank you.
If you could keep me posted too, that'd be great.
No,
Yeah,
you're the only
same.
one we're not going to tell.
All of us, I mean, but yeah.
You bet. I'm going to tell everybody. Yeah, this is something that we need to discuss. I think I have an answer
Because I
to it,
don't
but I
think-
want to just,
I don't think you're the only one who's taken a program interruption
Right.
for other reasons, because we had a lot of you were pregnant last year and took program interruptions because of your, delivery time. And so I think that's something that myself and AD Shaw and even the dean will need to get involved in and be consistent, be very consistent in what we decide.
yeah. I try not to make hasty decisions because I don't want it to come back and bite me, but I also want to, want to make sure it's fair to everybody so I try to look at all the angles of the question and consider that. So give me a little time on that and I'll get back with you on that.
I'm sorry, can I?
Yeah.
Also, so my stop out was, I took mine in January and March. I haven't been back at all because I had mono. So
Right.
So is that a different circumstance?
We'll talk with you.
I mean,
we got a page on you right now, girl. No, just kidding.
I know. Well, it's just, I came back to this. This isn't
No,
exactly
you're fine.
ideal.
Let's talk with Jenna offline about that. And how about if we do this? If you guys have, you might need to remind us. I'm sure Terry, she's got to remember like a vault.
Well, what I would like is if you are in that situation where you've taken a program interruption and the what ifs happen, if you will email me, don't email AD Shaw. She gets too many emails as it is. But if you will email me and then I can write those names down and then we'll know who we need to communicate with.
Yes.
Okay, so if you know of someone who wasn't able to be on the Zoom today and they're in the same situation, please pass that along to them. They'll be able to listen to the recording. I just, you know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure that it's passed along.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I appreciate, I want to thank you for creating the week 0 to give us that opportunity to obtain material earlier. But is there any way that they could print up the packets for us? At this time, it's fine, but I think that was my biggest issue is I couldn't get printer cartridges and paper. And for me, I just think that that might help.
Well, we're not printing anything right now. It's going to be virtual right now. So we'll draw, you mean like the packets of all the
syllabi and the handouts and things like that. The print shop is closed.
Okay.
So there is no printing, and with your classes being virtual, everything will go on to on Canvas as far as I'm concerned, and whether or not we will even have packets for the entire fall semester, that's, to me, that's, let's wait and see, because we don't know what's going to happen. And so everything will be on Canvas like it was at the end of the winter semester. So I understand trying to get what you need and all of that. But right now the college is completely shut down. There's nobody there. And so the print shop obviously is not printing anything.
Okay, I just thought.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a really quick question, Andrea.
Yeah.
So I know we've talked about clinicals being like day 1 starting as of right now. I think our cohort is a little confused because we're going into peds, and peds has not always been all hospital. So
Well, right, it will be for this coming semester. For the first 8 weeks, no schools, all hospitals.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, that's one of our, Molly, it's one of our big areas we've been working on over this past few weeks with Dr. Sawyer and Julie Bartoy, getting some really good experiences for you guys. And I think we got our hands on a couple. couple good ones. They may not be all your acute care things, but we're definitely getting a good balance for you. We're trying.
All right, awesome.
I might have to sell my soul to the devil, but I'm going to get some.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Will those meetings be held on Teams like it was at the end of the semester, the virtual courses?
I believe each instructor will, you mean for each of your classes?
Yes.
I think your instructors, do any of the faculty want to speak to that?
Yeah, Lulu, I just had Lulu in class the last 8 weeks.
Oh,
So yes, my students were using Teams. So it's up to the instructor what format they're choosing. A lot of them are sticking with formats they've used before. So that would be something that your individual instructors could shed some light on.
Yeah, hi Lulu.
Thank you.
It's Kim Kennedy.
Hi.
I'm using
Hi, Kim
using
Kennedy.
Canvas conferences. Hey Lulu. I'm using Canvas conferences just because I'm more familiar with it. So Christina speaks the truth. It just depends on, you know, what people have used, what they're most comfortable with.
Thank you.
And I do apologize. A lot of this meeting is non-academic because my faculty or the bosses, they have their own thing they're going to be doing, which just really is just easy to sum up and say they will be communicating with you on their particular nuances and how they're going to be running the course. And that's really the easiest thing. But your questions are valid, and I'm sure everybody else is wondering the same thing. So thank you for that.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Are we being billed an extra 3 credits per clinical coming up in the fall?
Are you being billed an extra 3 credits for clinical in the fall? Is that what you said?
Yeah, because I got a letter saying that clinicals or labs, depending on what class you're in, could be charged up to an additional 3 credits per class, per clinical.
Yeah, because now the billing is switching over, sorry to interrupt, to not credit hour, but contact hour. I also got that message.
Yes. There's been a change in how they're billing, how they're charging for the classes. I don't have all the details in front of me at this time. I really would need to get more information for you on that. I do know there has been a shift in how they are charging for classes. Yes, I do know that. Is it for 3 credits more? I don't know if they balance that out, but I can find out for you. I'm writing that down right now. Does anybody else on the call know?
I do, because I actually went through financial aid about it.
Okay, let us know, Kara.
So when you go on the actual macomb.edu website, if you go to their class listings, it shows you on the bottom of the class description, the billable contact hours. Most of our clinicals are the 3 extra credits, just so everybody's aware. Our actual lectures aren't having extra billable credits, but it's our labs and our clinicals, and they're usually about 3. And you have to deal with registration if you have questions about it, not financial aid. Financial aid knows nothing, has nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the meeting here today on my slides, I have a whole page of emails that might help you guys reach out to the people you need to on that question. It'll be directly to registrar. Yeah.
And then I have one other question. So our lectures are 4 weeks long. If we go to virtual for the first 3 weeks, do we have to, and then our teacher decides for the last week to go back to campus? Is that how it's going to be, or are we going to finish the class?
You know what? I can only tell you that I've talked to a couple, and it would be just, again, it's based on what they want. They really don't want to mess with you guys at all, and I think that they're trying to keep it as smooth and transitional as possible. So I don't know.
Faculty who are on address that with the conversations you all have had as a group, because I recall some of that conversation, but I don't want to speak as a faculty member.
So we definitely are taking into account consistency. That was something that we brought up from the get-go with, okay, if we did 3 weeks online, the 4th week, you guys have set up for 4-week lecture classes. So there is the ability for faculty to choose, how they implement their courses, but the majority of the discussions we're talking about promoting consistency for you guys. So I don't want to speak for all the faculty, but I will say that the main conversation was that we would keep it consistent, especially that first 4 weeks.
Yeah, we're well aware that that week actually has a final exam in it, and we are not, we're not in a hurry to kind of get you back on campus and then totally change how we did things for the first 3 weeks. I know psych, you're going to stay online.
Yeah, agreed. 1345 is going to stay online as well. So any of my folks come to 1345, we're not going to change it. We're just doing it all the same.
I think if I do recall, that was the kind of the agreement amongst the faculty that spoke up at the last meeting that we had. So, but again, it's up to the faculty to make that decision.
I have a question for Kiara since she looked it up. Was it 3 billable hours for lab and for clinicals, or was it 3 altogether?
So it's an additional 3 added to our clinical, our credits. You add 3 more credits for and then figure out the tuition for that. Our lecture credits are still the same.
Okay, so it's just 3 for everything.
So I think it's like you get billed for 5.5 credits for our clinical rotation.
Okay, and that's for lab and the clinical site?
Yeah. And then you have your lab fee on top of it, which is like the $102 or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
A question. You guys keep saying 3 more additional credits. Is this from back in like March when you guys took the stop out for COVID that it went down because it was virtual, or are we talking about just the program in general? Because I haven't been in since January 28th, so.
The program
is just Macomb in general.
Okay, so there's no change in your tuition for the COVID area when you guys went virtual. Okay.
And I have another question. Since we said we would be treating COVID like the flu if we personally got it, what happens if we are exposed to it, like the people I live with have it?
So here's the, let me go back to that in 22 seconds. I'm just going to hit this question right here. So, or this green right here. So actually, you know what, I'll come back to that because this is more important. So here's what's going to happen in the fall. Let's go to this first. I think my slide flipped. You're going to have a questionnaire just like you have when you go into your dentist or your eye doctor or whatever. And so what's going to happen for students is this. Your responsibility as a student, as far as on-campus courses, is you're going to be sent a student self-assessment, and it's going to be an assessment that needs to be done within 2 hours of your arrival to campus. It can't be done 3, it can't be done 4, it can be done 2 hours or sooner. And it's an evaluation of symptoms and your temperature. And this is due to, they want the freshest specimen of you the sooner the possible. You can't do it the day before or the night before. You've got to do it within 2 hours. Once you do the self-assessment, you'll be sent a link. Once you do this, you're going to get back, and say you have all your answers are no, meaning you don't have a fever, you haven't been exposed to anybody, you don't have any of the symptoms, blah, 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 blah. Then you hit no, you submit it, you're going to get generated back a cleared message. That message then needs to be sent to your instructors, okay? Your instructor then is going to look and check their email, and they're going to see, all right, they're all cleared, they're welcome into class, okay? If you forget and you pull up in the driveway of the school and you're like, oh my God, I forgot, and you don't have a thermometer on you, you can do the screening, but then when you get to the door, the instructor will have a thermometer there and you can do a self-scan. The thermometers are there not just for you to do at that time, but if any time during the day, because we don't all get sick just between the 2 hours before class and that's it. If at any time during the day you start feeling goofy, maybe you feel itchy, scratchy, burning, hot, anything, you tell your instructor, hey, I'm not feeling well, and your instructor's going to say, here, take your temperature, okay? Because this happens throughout the day. The reasoning for that is because we need to just start a conversation with this. It doesn't necessarily mean you have COVID. Remember we are coming into a beautiful season. We've got flu. We got a new swine flu they're talking about that's coming out. We have COVID, and I'm sure they're going to come up with a couple new ones. So two, we have to be able to differentiate between the symptoms of a true COVID and maybe menopause or menopause or something that's going on in your body, right? So if you check yes to any of those symptoms, you're going to get a red, not cleared. Well, don't panic. The next step is this. That will get sent to the teacher as well. The teacher is going to then obviously you're not allowed to come to class. Your instructor is going to send that to the dean of students in the other building, and we're trying to keep this as confidential as possible. The teacher's not going to stand up in front of the class and go, oh my God, she's got this. They're going to send it over to the dean of students. You'll be in contact with the dean of students. The dean of students will contact you and just say, hey, what's going on? And you're going to go, wow, is it, I have this fever, or I feel this way. The dean of students might say, oh my gosh, okay. And they're not a doctor, but they're going to guide you to how you're going to address that. Sometimes she'll also come into play if you fill out the form wrong and you're like, oh my gosh, I meant to hit no and I hit yes. It's still going to be an uncleared. You're still going to have to go through the dean. So there's going to be an on-campus assessment that's going to go on. The same thing is going to happen when you're going to your hospitals. You're going to have to pre-screen before you go to the hospitals. So you're going to have to show something for there as well to get clearance. If you decide not to screen, you're not allowed in. The teacher's going to need a cleared or not cleared on you. Yes, Kira.
So what about people working in the hospitals now? Because you said if we've been possibly exposed to it. Well, we don't have a clue at this point.
So on the questionnaire, there's going to be, and we worked hard at this because I know a lot of you guys work in the healthcare setting. There's going to be 2 separate questions. And the survey right now is going through a pilot with the students that are on campus right now because there's students finishing up winter term from different programs that never finished because of COVID. And one of the questions, it tried to narrow it down, such as, have you been exposed to somebody with COVID in the last 14 days? And it's yes or no. And then are you feeling symptoms, yes or no? Okay, so they understand that if you're working in a hospital, more than likely you're going to be exposed to somebody. Doesn't mean you're going to get it. So we tried to do a caveat question on that that's going to give you escape out, right? Because you're going to be caring for this. So I don't want everybody that's working in a hospital that's been exposed to a COVID patient, doesn't mean you have it. So we were very cautious about that.
Okay.
And then there's a separate question for if you were exposed to like a family member, something like that, where you're living in close quarters, okay? The most thing they're gonna do is, how do you feel? You feel you got any of the heebie-jeebies? And if you say no, then they say, fine, continue to monitor. Wear your mask. And this is, I can't help but go back to this again. I'm assuming, kind of just like when you're a nurse in the hospital, the universal precautions, everybody's got something. I'm gonna assume everybody has it, right? Because then I'm safe with my mask, I'm gonna do my hand washing, my hand hygiene, and I know I'm protected. So if we kind of work under those auspices, we're gonna be a little bit safer. That's really the best way to do it. The minute you take your gloves off, that's gonna be the patient with something that you're gonna get, right? So we protect ourselves, that universal precaution. Great question. Let me back up to just this, oops, not that one. Just so you understand a little bit more about when you hear people talking and what you're going to be seeing in your classroom, really quick. Hold on a second, I gotta shut my door. Okay, so your instructors have the liberty of teaching you guys in one of 3 ways, and we've worked very hard at this. One of them is hybrid, and some of your classes are true hybrids. You're seeing H on your schedule. That is because the instructor went to the CTL and was trained in teaching virtually. So you would see it would have a hybrid class, for example, if your instructor said on your schedule, you guys, Mondays, we're gonna meet from 6 to 8, and on Wednesdays we're virtual. That's a hybrid. Some of it's online, and some of it's gonna be, some of it's face-to-face, and some of it's gonna be online. That's a hybrid course. Ed Cordomanchi, he's got a hybrid class, for example. It'll be labeled on there. Virtual at the bottom of the slide is just 100% online. And this is where the course is going to be just online. So it doesn't mean you're not going to see your instructor. You'll see them maybe via Zoom meetings or whatever, but all your content is delivered there. You don't show up for class. Dr. Andy Knisik, she's got a course that's a true virtual course. She repurposed it to 100% online. Web Enhanced is a happy medium that we're going to be using in the health area, which basically says, hey, just like with Kiara, what she just said, she said, hey, what if my instructor doesn't want, we don't go back on and see it on week 4? Because this is going to be a Web Enhanced. The normal content that would be delivered to you possibly in a lecture setting, they might adapt that to virtual or use an online, temporary online forum, if you will, to enhance that content, to stretch that out a little bit more. And everybody who's doing the Web Enhanced, everybody has to do a Canvas training. All instructors have to do at least that. So they're not walking in there going, what's this Web Enhanced? I'm just going to throw some stuff up online. No, they've been trained on how to do this. So that's the 3 different components that you'll see within your class, which again brings me back. Are you seeing a common denominator here? A lot of virtual, a lot of computer time. We learned that through financial aid now, if you guys need a laptop, you can use financial aid for laptops now. You're going to have a laptop with a camera for the fall. There's no way around it. The CTL has laptops in there and computers in the library, but the library's closed and they don't have laptops with cameras. So that's something that you can use your financial aid for. With the CARES Act that just was disseminated, they disseminated a ton of money out to students who were in need. Most of them, over 80%, bought laptops. Who has a question?
I have a quick question about the virtual, online, and Web Enhanced.
Yeah.
For those classes, and this might be more instructor focused, are those going to be specific online in-person meeting times? Or are they going to be, here's the content online, here's my virtual lectures, and here are the exams? Or is that up to the discretion of the instructor? Because I know personally for the March group, we had kind of both. We had people who had weekly meetings, and then we had people who just recorded lectures and posted them. So is there like a set format, or is that just up to the discretion of the instructor?
Faculty?
That's up to the discretion of the instructor. We have academic freedom to disseminate it. Most of us, we aren't just giving you the stuff and sending you out in the pasture. Where there's a middle ground to be had there.
Yep, agreed. And at least for mine, for 1345, all my stuff is online. My lectures are narrated online, that type of thing. But I'm still meeting during class periods to do different active learning type activities. So kind of a little bit of a both.
And this is Christina Panic. And yes, again, we're all kind of adding our own little flavor and style to what we're doing. So I had all my PowerPoints recorded and then also held virtual sessions that students were in.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Christina. I have all the virtual stuff up there along with slides, and there's other things that we will be doing.
Thank you. I
Are we
appreciate it.
gonna know if we have a scheduled time period of when we have to log on, just for work schedule purposes?
Yes, that's week 0.
Okay, so we'll know by week 0 what if we have a scheduled time period we have to meet with.
Yep,
Okay.
we're supposed to be giving you your schedule that day, so yes.
Okay, thank you.
And did I hear that by the end of July, we should have our actual schedules to register so we can kind of have an idea with this cost going up and that?
Shirley and Terry, are the course schedules being held up at all because of clinicals, or are we going to be able to get those out?
Excuse me. I mean, we're going to try to get them out as soon as possible. What Shirley said earlier, depending on what the schedule is like, we might have to do it at 8-week increments and just at least get the first 8-week stuff sent out.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as we can finalize the second 8 weeks, then send that out.
Yeah, that might be.
But Shirley and I will have to start working on that within the next week or so.
Yeah, it might be the way to
Question
go. You get a little bit out for them. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Who's asking?
James,
Hi,
question then. My understanding is, so for registration purposes for courses, we're going to be told which courses we're registering for?
Yes.
Or is that just for the clinicals or?
No, as you've always been. I'm sorry, I was muted and I had problems unmuting myself. You will be told, just like you've been told in the past, what courses to register for, and that will come. And we probably will need to start looking at that. And really, I think we'll do the first 8 weeks. And in some cases, we might possibly be able to do both the whole semester. But again, I have holes still, and I'm working on it on a daily basis. So Terry and I will discuss it. I'm praying and hoping by the end of July to have that all out to you guys so that you can register and start budgeting.
So we, as an individual, will be told which course we're supposed to register for?
Yes, the section number, yes. So Terry sends out and says, and really the lecture part isn't as, because there's only one section of the lectures, it's more like the clinical. So but she does send out both the lecture, the section numbers that you're to register for lecture and for the clinicals.
Now, I don't know.
It may only be for the first 8 weeks though.
And I don't know how many other students applies to, but like for myself, I'm on the GI Bill, and we got notification to register starting today because they have to have time to turn it on with the VA, and that takes forever for all the money to get moved around. And so they usually have us register earlier because they got to deal with these, the VA. And so I was wondering,
well,
the faster that
yeah, I know that it's one of those things that takes a while for the money to get from Washington back to the school. So it's early. I know that they wanted to, registration open today, priority registration open today, but I hate to use this phrase. I hate this phrase, but that's the way we've always done it. I hate that phrase. But I will try to get with Terry even during this week and try to get at least the first 8 weeks out. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can I say something about the guy with the GI Bill? I'm a veteran, and if you call financial aid or call the financial office and let them know, they're pretty understanding and will accept, that you're going to be late for payment.
Oh yeah, I got that. They put the hold on it, but you have to start it by registering for the courses. I mean, I can pull the courses, but to get the ball rolling, you gotta have the courses listed on the form.
Yeah, but then they'll still pay. I mean, it's actually quicker than you think because
I know I've done it before, but I was just curious as to, so we're not going to register yet. That's what I was trying to get at.
Right. You're not going to register, but this is not uncommon. I mean, this is what we've done every year, not just because of COVID. I mean, this is the timeline that we've always followed. Because we were notified, we're still being notified of denials or approvals because the hospitals are still trying to figure out what units they have available that are not dedicated COVID. And so it's not unusual not to get your registration sometime in either now or the middle of July to the end of July.
Yeah, every other hospital has the same issue that Shirley is talking about because they were having issues with COVID as well. And the units that we traditionally ended up on don't have the same availability as they do today. So even the hospitals themselves are having to juggle us So that kind of puts everything behind, and it's not a comfortable answer, but it is the reality of it.
So will our schedules actually be emailed out to us as well versus having to wait for them in the mail?
No snail mail, because we can't mail anything because nothing's open on campus. So you're going to get everything via email this time.
Shirley, it's Crystal. So we had some questions a minute back about not being able to get ink and like print stuff. And I just wanted to let everybody know I always share it, but there's a thing called Instant Ink, and it's through HP. And as long as you have a wireless computer, you can get your cartridges shipped right to your home. They give you an envelope to ship your used ones back. It's really like no problems. I've done it since the beginning of my prereqs, and it's actually really cost friendly. It's like package as low as free for 15 pages a month up to 1,500 pages for like $15 a month. And it's, it's great. The only thing I have a laser printer, so you can't highlight as well. I use ink pens colored to underline instead of highlight, but it's a really great package, especially right now with all this going on. So HP Instant Ink, if you have a wireless computer, you can look that up.
You can also, I was on a call for U of M Flint. They said that Sophia, SOPHIA, Sophia Global.
Yes, I'm just going to say that one.
Very cheap as far as ink is concerned. Drastically cheap. And I wrote that down because I'm spending, money too, printing stuff off that I would usually, wait to go and print it at work. So Sophia Global is another place where you can go and order your ink, and really it's very inexpensive from what I was told.
Does that one come to your house and everything as well?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, highly recommended too. I heard it from a totally different source, so it's and they're not the refillable ones.
They're brand new. Yeah, that's what we were told.
Great.
Someone asked that question. Are these the refillable ones? No, they're brand new cartridges.
Yeah. Same with HP ink. Yeah.
Good to know.
I have a question, kind of backtracking a little bit. Does anybody know when the cutoff day is to apply for financial aid? Is it too late for this year?
I don't know.
Honestly, I applied like a week before one time and they got me through. So.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you.
I think that your chances go down if you're looking for unsubsidized or however that works where you don't have to repay. But your chances go down of they have more availability the sooner you apply for funds. But you're always going to get it if you're taking an actual loan out. You'll get it even a week before sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Hi guys, it's Lulu again. Not to take off the subject, and not to have questions during this session. If anyone still needs their CPR, feel free to inbox me on Facebook.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. I think it's going back a slide or two in regards to PPE. How is that going to work if we are, this is probably a March specific start date, but if we are in a lab practicing with each other or on campus, how does that requirement look?
I got distracted, I think, with questions. So the way we're doing that is if you're in a lab, if we do bring lab, let me just start the sentence over. I'm starting to talk like Shirley. If for the lab setting where you're going to be closer, we will be providing N95 masks for students. They are not going to be fit tested. They do not need to be fit tested for that setting, but we will be providing them. We have a perfect ratio to make the governor happy and everybody else. Again, it's 9, the max is 9 students to 1 faculty, and I think most of our labs are 8, and maybe now down to 6. I don't know what we're gonna do, but so we have a beautiful setting for that. So you'll be wearing N95 in there. In the classroom, because we're going to be distancing, now mind you, this is where this web enhanced comes in a little bit again too. So if I have, it's all in the math. If you normally have 40 students in a class, there's no way I can bring back 40 students in a room, right? So this is where the faculty are going to be creative in meeting with the students, which is probably why maybe some of the lectures are going to stay online for some of the part, because I can only do 1 student every 6 feet. And because of that, we're going to permit like a surgical mask or even some of your homemade soft face masks. Those are going to be per what the health department is telling me right now, those would be fine. So with the social distancing and the lecture component, non-N95s in the lab, N95s, we provide them. In the clinical setting, depending on this instructor or the facility you're at, won't get into it now, but some of you are going to have to bring a mask. Some of you they're going to provide them for you. If you have to bring a mask, we're going to try to give them to you to bring to the clinical, okay? At most, what I'm hearing, it's going to be just the surgical face masks. You're not going to be taking care of any COVID patients, and for the most part, not taking care of any patient that's going to require a PPE at all, any type of contaminant, because that's going to suck up their PPE, and they don't want to lose that. Clearly from out of the horse's mouth. So if you have somebody for whatever, so you're going to just be taking care of non-PPE needed patients.
No one in isolation, even if they don't have COVID. So each hospital are making those decisions. They will be posted on ACE-MAP. Your clinical instructors will be aware of what they need to do as far as screening and everything. So, and they will put that on the first day handout as far as the requirements in going into the health facilities.
Yes, I would, oh, you're so welcome. I would also, and I don't know if we said this during this session or the first or second, but, and I don't think we said it, and I have to emphasize with you guys that it's not going to be the same. If you're a 7 a.m. roller upper for class, because class starts at 7 a.m., it's not going to fly. Per all the hospitals we've talked to and per the organizations I'm on, for clinical, it's not going to be, don't be surprised if your instructor asks you to get there a half an hour to 45 minutes early. Your parking is going to be changed. You're going to be in a different spot to park. You're going to have farther to walk. You have to go up and you have to get checked in at the door. Patient care cannot be delayed because of this. Patient care is going to have to flow. So it's going to come down to the burden on you guys. As soon as we tell you where you're located as far as your clinicals, I don't care if you've already been there, do a dry run. Beaumont has not relocated in the many years it's been in Royal Oak, still same address. Troy's the same place. Henry Ford's are all the same place. Get used to your drive with the new traffic. There's not going to be any tolerance of it. This meeting is to tell you that you're going to have to adjust to that. You're going to have to set Mickey a little earlier than when you normally do to wake up, because you've got to get there. Otherwise, you'll be late, and the instructor may send you away. It's not going to be like it was before. This is not our doing. This is what they're telling us to do. Same thing with class. Please don't walk into your class 10 minutes late. Your instructors more than likely are not going to let you in, because they have maybe not have checked your thing, or try not to do your self-assessment in the parking lot, please. Instructors are worrying about getting lecture done and starting with all that, maybe doing a test, and then they got Joe out there in the parking lot doing clicking. Tell you, you're going to make the blacklist. You're going to be on the list for a while. So don't do that. Let's try to work together on this, and this is what this meeting is about. Yes, ma'am.
Had a question. So if we're in a clinical setting and for some reason we're not dealing with those types of patients, but we have an N95 and we want to wear that, are we allowed to?
Oh, sure.
Okay. The other thing was, I work at Beaumont, and yeah, there's so many limited accesses. Like, you can't come in half the doors you could before, and there's lots of students, so that time is really important.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're going to take a hike, and again, and some of them are making us throw the masks out. Some of them are going to have you guys save them. There's talk about changing. Just as this gets closer, I think they're intentionally. I just feel like every time they tell us something, as best as they're trying to give us the updated information, there's always a question mark at the end of it, because they don't know what's going to happen as much as we don't know. So, but great questions.
And it's the same thing at St. John. I work at St. John. There's construction in almost every parking deck. There's lines to wait for the employees and everybody to get screened going in, and it's very limited access to which doors you can go in.
And in your pre and post conferences, those are probably going to be thrown out the window. Cafeterias, you probably won't be able to eat there, and they've already said don't start moving chairs around. So there's a lot of stuff that's changing. So we'll get you out. Promise you, this isn't the last time you've heard from us, but this is just a good warm up. Which brings me to this liability form. So the liability form has been approved by our legal department, and this is about risk factors. Now, you sign one all the time for a lot of other things. Nursing school is not any different. Any medical program, you're going to be signing liability, and with COVID, we just changed it and we've added COVID to it. We are going to have to sign this before you get released into the clinical setting. This is another page you got to sign. Again, if you're finding you're having conflict with this, let us know. You won't be able to get into clinical unless you sign it, but maybe we need to have a discussion. This leads me to insurance as well. A lot of questions about insurance in the last couple of meetings. We don't cover you guys. If there's an incident, needle stick exposure, we have a protocol, but you pay for that either out of pocket or via your insurance. And we don't favor a certain insurance company or anything. You just decide, you shop it, whatever you want to do. We don't mandate you do it, but the costs will be accrued by you. So that's how it is in most programs. It's the way it is. So we'll get this to you so that you can actually read it over and read the fine print, and maybe have Jeffrey Feiger read it over for you. But our Jeffrey Feiger read it over, and it's pretty self-explanatory. You just sign your life away. That's all.
Can I ask a question?
I have a question too.
Sure, we can get a couple.
I'm speaking from the January start date. When we go back into clinicals, are we going to be clinicals twice a week as it was originally planned, 2 days a week? Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to confirm.
Thanks, Terry.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
For somebody who hasn't started in a hospital clinical yet, do we need to provide to Terry a proof of insurance, like a copy of our insurance card or anything?
No.
Okay.
Just keep the card in your back pocket.
I have a question. So if you have health insurance, like through work or whatever, your family or whatever, that covers you, right? Like you don't have to go out and buy additional like insurance.
Yeah, you don't need additional. It's just you have some form of healthcare insurance.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Good question.
And this liability form, if it's easier, I can send it to everybody through ACE. I can get that out to you within the next day or two.
That would be awesome.
Just make sure you emails from ACE, because right now it might still have your old email. I'm not worried about that, but everybody has to remember to read their email when it comes from ACE, and I will put this liability form on it.
Thanks, Terry. That's a great idea.
Thank you.
Cluster all these forms up. Was there another question about the liability form?
I didn't have a question, but for some of the newer starts that haven't even started clinicals yet, I know a couple of my professors recommended malpractice insurance, like to cover you, and I did that. It was less than $100 a year. It just covers you, you personally, if you have any issues in clinical, whether it be health or liability.
Yeah, liability malpractice is good. Christina,
they cover your most recent licensure. So like I was a medical assistant, so they charge you based on what you were certified in, and then they add on nursing student as like a rider type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be a great guest speaker, Christina. Just nudge, nudge. I have an attorney friend who's a nurse, not really even a friend. I met her through my previous life, and she represents nurses who go through, if you've ever had anybody speak about this.
That would be perfect for our October meeting, because we have one
She's
smaller
phenomenal. And that's what she does for a living, is she represents nurses who go through situations that are horrible, or untoward. And so it's just great. So I'll do my job.
Alec is actually our new programming chair in charge of programming and speakers. So Alec, if you want to email Dean Andrea Shaw, and she can send you that contact info, because
I can reach out to this lady. She So great. So everything we've told you today, you guys are probably like either passed out or asleep or whatever. But we did this just as a reminder. All of this is going to be on that Canvas community Canvas site. It's ADN community Canvas site, and at the very bottom of this screen here, there's actually a link, and this is how you enroll to get on there. And again, I'm going to be sending you. I can send this to you so you can enroll in there. And once you get in, everything Shirley has been talking about, I'm gonna try to put this Zoom link there. I don't think it's gonna work. I tried to put the one from this morning up there, and it kind of like looked at me like this is not gonna happen because it was too big. So I might have to send it out to you via an email, but into your groups. But anyway, this is how to get enrolled into that Canvas site. And it's phenomenal because everything we talked about, all the documents, everything, and Shirley's got an abundance of stuff up there that you're gonna have for resources. So this is where everything goes. Okay, and this is where your week 0 will go as well. And I think that's it. Oh, so this is just important context. I know it's microscopic, but if you print it out, this is all your emails. And I was thinking about you, James, you're talking about the veterans. There's, veteran and military services at the bottom. In the olden days, which is all the way pre-March, I would have just given you guys phone numbers or told you go to H building. It's not there. So this is the next best thing, is to give you an email of how to reach these people. You click on it. These are active hot links, and somebody is at their home and will answer these emails for you and tell you where to go for all your resources. But this is everything, all the department email addresses, and they will help you with this.
I have a quick question about.
Are we getting a copy of these PowerPoints?
Yeah, I'm gonna send them out, so don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I'll send them out. It won't be till tomorrow because I plan on putting my pajamas on.
TMI. Natalia, do you have a question?
Yes, I did. In regards, and this might be actually a question for somebody on this list, so I apologize in advance, but for our next set of courses, are we going to be able to order books directly through the bookstore, or should we seek other online alternatives? How will that work?
There was something on an email or something that they were going to put that online, the textbooks online.
The bookstore online.
Yeah. That's what I read.
I have the same question about scrubs. Are we still required to buy them through the bookstore online, or are we able to buy the same brand through another retailer at this point?
Right now, you have to buy them through the bookstore.
So just today, they're freshening up the online store. So the web page right now, she's been working on it all day. Tracy has been working on it all day, making sure she has all the information updated, the sizes, everything. Yep.
Okay. The exact scrubs that the bookstore sells through Scrubs and Beyond. I brought it home. They didn't have the right sizes for me at the bookstore. I brought it home and I looked up the exact same SKU number online.
As long as you have the same color and the same exact ones, you can do that, but just be careful.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Cool.
I have a question about financial aid real quick.
Oh boy. Go ahead, I will try.
So when we get our list of classes from Terry, financial aid covers according to how many credit hours you're taking. Because you guys don't know if these second weeks, what kind of clinicals we'll have, we can't even be certain about the first day. Are we gonna at least know the classes we can sign up for the second 8 weeks? It will be online, so that gives us more credit hours, so financial aid covers more.
We can put your theory classes on.
Yeah.
And that will raise your credit hours. It might be the clinical that's missing.
They won't be able to register for the theory classes without the clinical because they're all with one another.
They're all linked together. Yep.
I think you're worried about the 12 credits, right?
Yeah, because I mean, if you do 9 credits, I think they cover 75%. If you do, I don't know what it was, but the more you, like for example, I had a situation where I only was able to sign up when I was going to start in October for the first 8 weeks. Financial aid covered less, but when I changed it to January and I had the full list of the full semester, financial aid saw that I had more credit hours assigned to me, so they covered a lot more according to the credit hours. So because we don't know what we're going to sign up for, I don't know how financial aid's going to cover.
That might change with it being billable hours, though.
Just and
I don't know.
Yeah, just give us a little time on that. Like I said, I think a lot's going to happen hopefully over this next week or so with these clinicals. I don't know for sure. I mean, Shirley and Terry are working on this diligently. Let's give it some time. If it doesn't iron out where we can't give you a full schedule,
We may, Andre and I can talk about that, and we may have to reach out to financial aid and let them know of the situation.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, we're just not going to let you hang there. I think if anything, to resolve that issue, and then a conversation with financial aid has to happen.
Yeah, that would help a ton.
And
I'm taking a note on that.
Because I really, that's not fair to you guys because of the restrictions that we've been put on because of COVID from the hospital systems.
But according to financial aid, they're only taking our credit hours. They're not taking the billable credit hours, just so you know. That's how they're distributing the financial aid is by the actual credit hours, not the billable.
Right, so
that's true. It won't change our financial aid status, even though we're getting charged more.
Yep.
Well, we'll discuss it. Tomorrow that will be my number one thing is to really look at what is left to fill.
Yeah.
And then go from there, guys. Okay, that's all I can promise you. As I've been not presenting, I'm working on other placements and emailing the it into ACE. So it's a constant thing that I'm trying to do. There is no time that I'm very concerned about it. So trying to think out of
Sierra, do you mind sharing your email address or phone number?
Yeah, I can give you guys my phone number.
And Jennifer M, there's static on your line. If you can hit mute. I think it's that's one of the ones lighting up right now. If you're not speaking, just make sure you're on mute.
So if you have questions about financial aid, I sat on the phone with them for almost 2.5 hours. You can text me. My phone number is 734-642-8810. And then I have a question too about COVID. If we've already tested positive, do we need to do any kind of documentation with?
Oops. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I hate this thing here. If you've tested positive, like yesterday?
No, but I meant just saying in general, because I didn't know if we had to do any kind of documentation. Like
No.
my work needed a ton of documentation, so that's why I just wanted
No,
to
the questions will ask you, have you had?
Just basically if you're having the symptoms now.
Yeah, and if you've had, yeah, and that's one of our pilot questions right now, and it's working out very well.
Okay, sounds good.
In regards to the new handbook that we have to sign, is that the one that's titled March 2019?
No, the new handbook will be 2021, and it is going to the standards committee for approval. So the changes that were on the PowerPoint that I showed you and will send to you are the changes that have been made. And once we get it approved, we will send out a one-page, a new handbook with the one-page, this is what changes we made type of thing, just like we've done every year. So what you have is the current one. The changes that you were shown on the PowerPoint are the proposed changes that are going to standards on August 15th.
Okay.
For their approval.
Thank you.
All right. Christina, did you still need to talk? Oh
Yep.
my. I'm so sorry.
I know we did different orders, meeting 1 versus meeting 2, so no problem. So hi everybody. Half of you have met me, half of you haven't, but my name is Christina Panic and I'm a full-time faculty member here at Macomb. I teach obstetrics, so for those of you starting OB in August, you'll have me then. If you've already had OB, you've met me before. I feel like I want to say hi to all these faces that I see. I don't have time to take and say hi to any of you, but I'm going to hold up some random funny things, and you know who you are if you see one of these familiar objects. So some of my clinical groups gave me different things that, anyways, they're laying around my house. I just thought I'd put these up. This one's a funny story that we won't get into. So anyways, I'm here speaking to you today in my other role, which is SNA faculty advisor. So I have different faculty or SNA students here that I'm the faculty advisor for them. So they're going to speak to you a little bit about SNA opportunities that are now virtual with SNA through the fall, because our goal is that we want everything to roll without any issues in the fall SNA related. So everything that we're planning, we're going to plan it in a way that nothing can be canceled. Everything will be virtual and things that are socially distant friendly. So with that said, I'm going to go through and introduce, we have lots of SNA officers and reps here in the meeting today, but I'm going to start with our couple volunteers that have been in meetings all day, our third one today, talking about SNA. So Erin, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself. Let
Hi, I'm
everybody
Erin
know.
Williams. I'm the secretary for the SNA board, and I graduate this October.
And Renee, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself. Oh, Renee, you're on mute still. Turn your mute off. That's okay. You got it right in your other meeting.
My name's Renee. I'm part of the SNA. I'm the treasurer. Just that I'm the treasurer for the SNA.
And Jess?
Hi, hi. My name's Jess. I'm just one of the class reps for March 2019 group.
And we have other officers that I'll go through and introduce when we get to our contact sheet. But I'm going to be doing some screen sharing, and I'm going to let Erin go ahead and start talking to you guys about SNA's mission.
Great. So while Christina's pulling up our Facebook page, the mission for SNA is that it is the Student Nurse Association for Macomb. We strive to promote professional and development and networking opportunities, as well as encouraging the health and wellness among our peers and community. And our goals are to promote student and faculty engagement. It's a great point of conversation between faculty and students. Nice way to communicate that way. We do have a Facebook page. We usually, in the prior meetings, we were putting the link on the side along with the secretary email for you guys to get in touch with, but the chat option isn't available in this meeting. So Christina's brought that up. This is SNA-MCC on Facebook. It's the easiest way to find us. The email, I'm not sure if you want to write it down or how it's going to get.
I'll put it on the screen.
The email is macombsnasecretary@yahoo.com. Very easy, fast response time now that it's on my phone. We had a meeting this past month between the officers, and we have another meeting coming up. We have meetings about every month that you're able to join starting this August. And then, as you can see, we, on these upcoming meetings and events page on here on Facebook, we had the student orientations going on today. This Thursday, we have an officer planning meeting in July. Yeah, this Thursday. And then in August, we have officer and class rep planning meeting. And you are able to attend that. It is on Microsoft Teams. All meetings are recorded and posted later if you wanted to view them and you weren't able to attend. We have the Monday, July 6th, September 17th, October 15th. And then we are also doing the professional day, still the professional nursing development day, where you're able to get in contact with the schools for continued education, going from your ASN to your BSN. It was a really great experience when we went, able to get a lot of information, a lot of free pens. And then we usually do a end of semester celebration. Last year we did, or this past semester we did Chili's. It turned out pretty well. A portion of your dining in experience goes to us for fundraising purposes. This year we are trying to do a little more COVID friendly one with an opportunity for takeout if necessary. I think those are all the events we have planned so far, but if you're going to have the meetings, then you're more than welcome to come and suggest other events that might be great for the board and for the group. I think that
And
is on that.
this September meeting is the one that we're gonna have Bridget Felix from Troy Beaumont. She's the ICU educator for one of the units that led the charge on COVID. She's gonna be doing a 30-minute presentation on nursing care of the COVID patient and reflections from what we learned this spring. So that's gonna be a very interesting and timely meeting, September 17th. October 15th, we have a representative, Ashley, that is a member of the National Student Nurses Association, and she's the membership chair for the Michigan Student Nurses Association, and she'll talk about opportunities for you to connect on state and national levels. You guys, by being a part of the program at Macomb, you guys are part of SNA. Once you participate, there's not a fee, but if you get involved with the Michigan or national one, she'll explain fees and memberships for that. So this is just a easy way to have you guys keep track of the different events that are going on.
Hey, Christina, I have a question for you. This is Molly. Are we doing the pinning ceremonies anymore, or is that something that's not happening anymore?
That is something that I'll, because it's not SNA that puts that on, I'm gonna kind of defer that question just because that's not something that I've been involved with organizing, but I know that that was something that students were trying to get back in the spring, but that was, everything was obviously canceled for in-person, but because I can't speak to that, I'm gonna kind of defer that and kind of focus on the all the stuff that we do need to cover.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if you guys did that or not.
Yep, no problem. While we're still on the page here, actually, Jess, I know we talked about, I had teams on the list next, but we might as well do Christy's info while we're here. So I'll scroll down to Christy's post if you want to talk about that, Jess.
Christy she's the lab coordinator when she does all the skills labs. She's been setting up these virtual sessions on Facebook, and it's actually really cool because you can go in and you'll sign up on the Sign Up Genius, and it'll actually give you a notification the day before to remind you that you are signed up for this virtual assessment. And then you will be able to go in, and she's gone over, I've been in a couple of them, she's gone over like assessments. She did clinical calculations, so like IV drip rates. She's done programming pumps, and it's really it's good access because you're able to see everything. It may not be as hands-on, but you're still able to kind of refresh on skills that you've gone over during the semester. And I think she posts them weekly. I think that's it on that.
I'm sorry, Andrea got a text from you. If you wanted to address, I just can't speak to pinning. If you want to address anything with that.
I can defer till after the meeting. That's fine. I'll talk to faculty about it separate.
Okay. So going back, I'm sorry, I got kind of thrown off here looking at my phone. All right, so here's your just different posts and things like that. I'm going to go to show you guys a glimpse of Microsoft Teams. Jess, if you want to start talking about that while I switch screens, because I know it kind of times out as I toggle over.
Okay. Microsoft Teams is going to be one of the ways that you'll do your virtual meetings. Specifically for SNA, they've been going on Microsoft Teams. They hold the monthly meetings, and you'll be able to go in. There is, I'll wait till you pull it up. But there's, once you hit on SNA, when you're registered to Microsoft Teams, there will be a files. Oh, yep, that's, so you have an SNA tab that you can click. And then there's kind of like this ongoing chat where they'll post any links. There is a link from June 22nd. It was our officer planning meeting. It was recorded, and you'll be able to go on and you can watch that. And then any other questions that you have or anything that's going on. And then you can also go into files, and there you'll have where you'll have the SNA meeting agendas. You'll have, I'm trying to see, I can't really see. You'll have the SNA meeting agendas and then the officer planning meetings. So when all our meetings are, and then you'll have the different positions available.
Hey, Jess.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I gotta go because my work started at 8 o'clock. So if anybody can send me a text or something about what's going on,
okay.
Just a heads up. So I've been during the meeting till 6 o'clock, but I don't want anybody from the faculty to think I wasn't there.
Okay.
Be safe.
All right, bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Sorry about that. We're gonna continue here. Okay, and going back here to files, sorry.
Yeah,
that
so
was-
anybody, and if you wanted to sign up as a class rep, you can go under files. They have a, are you going to that, Christina?
Yep, I'm going to that.
Okay, they have an officer organization, and you can put your name, you put your start date, your name, and you put it under which cohort you're in. And that's to sign up for any of that. But Teams is what you'll be using for part of classes and then also for SNA.
I have a question. Do you know if you can access Microsoft Teams from an Apple computer? Is that?
Oh,
yes, you can.
You can, okay.
Once I forgot to show you guys one thing on Facebook. You can download Microsoft Teams is free to you guys, and there's a form on Facebook and on Teams here. I'll see if I can find it in the folder here that has more information about it. So once I get out of this form, I'll go back to the Facebook page and show you that form that I'm talking about. But if any of you want to be class reps, we don't have class reps for your cohort, please sign up here. Also, I'll point out too, if your name is up here as a class rep, but it is highlighted, we do not have your contact info yet, and we need you to update your contact info. So this is an editable file that all of you guys will be able to go in and add yourself to if you want to be volunteer as a class rep. As a class rep, your duty is to either attend the meeting or watch it online so that you can inform your class. So if you are one of our class reps that was not able to attend the 6/22 officer meeting, please make sure you have your information updated here and watch that on the discussion board page of Facebook. So if you do want to volunteer, there's info here on how to volunteer. So make sure that you watch the officer planning video. There's a link to it here. You do need to be in Teams as a regular member, not a guest, and I'll show you how to do that when we toggle back to Facebook. And then you need to update your contact info. But as you can see, we have lots of positions that are open for class reps. We also are going to need to start developing some future, in fact, Renee, I'm gonna kind of let you talk about positions coming up because I kind of started talking about that already. But Renee, do you want to talk about people that are graduating in October and positions that will be open?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
I don't Facebook, so
So you don't need Facebook to get on Microsoft Teams. So you can download Microsoft Teams and search SNA MCC. You will need to have the key that there's a flyer that I'd emailed that hopefully that Terry can send out, or Terry or Andrea or Shirley that can send out that has the course code.
When I send out the liability form, I can also attach your SNA form to it.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to toggle back to Facebook to show you guys what I'm talking about. Facebook's just an extra way to get a hold of you guys, because what I find is that I can email you and have a week go by sometimes, before I hear back, versus some of these things we're getting to you guys quickly. You guys have to be diligent about checking your email for school things, but this is kind of an extracurricular, just extra reminder here. But no, you don't. It is easier if you have Facebook. No, you don't need it to join Teams. So I will show you guys here some of the picture uploads. This is the form that has information on how to download your free Microsoft Office 365. And that includes your My Macomb email and how to get Teams. You can get Teams on your computer, get it on your cell phone. I know some of you guys have used it for meetings, calling in on your cell phone. If you join it, if you do not use this key, you will only have limited access. So there's a key code here that will give you full access to everything versus a guest access. So if you're having trouble like watching the movie of the meeting on 6/22, make sure you're using this course code here, or this Teams code to get added. You only need this once you're added on Teams. You won't need this. Okay, so those are your two components. Mainly everything is on Microsoft Teams, but Facebook is just kind of used for save the date and quick info. Okay. Let's see if we covered everything on the list. Erin, do you want to just wrap up with any, or actually, Renee, did we talk about those two positions? Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. The SNA will be losing our president and the secretary. So if anybody's interested in joining, you could reach out to any one of us in the group and we'll go ahead and put your name in. And what we'll do is during the August meeting, we'll be doing elections. So we would highly recommend, we would encourage you guys to, for those who want to be the president or the secretary, maybe join in with us on during the summer months. And then this way we can get you acclimated before they leave us. So if you have any questions or anything, just reach out to any one of us and we'll go ahead and help you get started. Any questions?
Okay, and then Erin, if you want to just kind of wrap up with where to go as far as contact info.
So for the contact info, we did kind of go over it earlier. The email is SNA Macomb Secretary at yahoo.com, or Macomb SNA Secretary, sorry, switch those around. It is on the Facebook page and it should be on the flyer that is being emailed out to everyone.
Okay, perfect. Well, we will keep it short and simple. And if there's any questions you guys have for our SNA reps now, if you want to go ahead and ask them, we can open it up to an SNA Q&A.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So is it just basically these once a month meetings and then you inform your classmates of the meetings if they don't make it?
Are you talking about as far as being the role of class rep?
Right.
Correct. So for class rep, so for example, I have the events page pulled up here. So to be a class rep, your job is to keep your class informed. So to be able to do that, you have to be in the loop on what's going on with the meetings. So for example, the ones coming up, this is, I have on our screen, student orientation today, volunteers needed. Obviously, we have volunteers helping host this today. In August, we'll have a planning meeting that will be held virtually on Teams. In September and October, we'll have regular session meetings. And then we previously had a meeting in June that you can watch the videos of. So as far as the fall semester, it's 4 meetings that you would need to play a part of or attend virtually or watch the video and then inform the class. The 2 events, Professional Development Day and the End of Celebration fundraiser, that won't have something to report back, you know, just to keep them updated. But the ones that, so it's very doable to, you know, make yourself available for 4 virtual meetings or watch the recording of it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Okay, so we'll kind of wrap up and throw back to Shirlene and Andrea.
I just want to wrap things up. Shirley, is there anything else to say? I just want to say how proud I am, Christina and the SNA, for everything you've done. It's a very active SNA, a lot of good ideas, and you guys have all done a phenomenal job. So thank you all very much.
Yes, I agree with that, and kudos to everyone. Do any of you have any other questions? As it stands right now, we will send the PowerPoint out and also the instructions for Macomb email. There's a better handout for that, and we'll send that out. We are going to, Terry and I will make an appointment sometime this week to kind of sit down once I have time to look at and evaluate what courses we can have you guys register for. And then I think that's it, but I'm not positive, but that's kind of a wrap up of what we kind of talked about. Okay.
I think so.
All right, guys, you have a great evening. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Please be safe.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thanks, bye.